What's going on, fellow fish tank fanatics? This is the entry video for my brother Jwhiser1302's Sea Chem contest. Basically, Jwhiser, Jeff, wants to know how we got into the hobby, who our mentors are, and what keeps us in the hobby. Like, what keeps us motivated and going and always wanting to learn new things. Well, I'm in my thinking chair, in my talking chair. I've got a lot of noise going on around me, but they're part of the story, so we're gonna get into it. So, how I got into it. I was 17 or so, and I fell in love with angelfish. Man, I wanted angelfish so bad. So I went home, I did a bunch of research. I knew that I needed at least a 20-gallon for a pair. A 29 would be better. Of course, I told my parents, hey, Mom, Dad, this is what I want to do. And they just kind of laughed at me and they said, well, Katie, we know you're working right now because it's summertime, but you know how much money you have to put aside for college. So I worked to pay my way through college. That's part of the story. So I worked a couple extra shifts and I got a little bit extra money and I was able to purchase my first aquarium. It was a 20 high. It was on a crappy metal stand. It had a crappy hang on the back filter. It wasn't a very great tank, but I got it set up, I got it cycled, and I was able to add a couple veal tail black angels because that's what I wanted. Fast forward a little bit, they were doing great. I was doing water changes by buckets. I was enjoying them. Well, they had just started laying eggs and I had to run off to college. So I left for college. I gave my mom specific instructions on how to feed the fish. And less than a week later, it didn't even take a week, she called, Katie, your fish are dead. So I had to go back home. I tore down the tank and I just let it sit empty. It literally sat empty in my room. Well, fast forward another year after that, and I met this boy. This boy became my boyfriend, and when we first started dating, he was like, oh man, you know, he was just, I guess, trying to get to know me, and he asked me what I would like as a present, and I always was kidding around. I said, man, I was in a sorority, and my pledge class was Beta Mu. And I said, man, I want a beta fish that was red, my sorority color, and I want to name it Mu. Well, later that year, Valentine's Day popped up, and that's what he got me. He got me a beta for Valentine's Day, because that's what I wanted. And I gotta call him Mu, and he was kind of the sorority mascot, as stupid as it sounds, this little beta fish. It's just awesome, though. I mean, either way, that man became my fiance and became my husband, so he's very much part of the story. Fast forward another year, and he was redoing his fraternity room, and he built a specific shelf for Beta Mu to sit on in his room, and he built another shelf, which was what was for his beta fish, because he kind of liked it, and he wanted his own. So he got us his own beta fish, whose name was Handsome Rob. Now, Handsome Rob, we just thought we would run into the local fish store, pick out a beta that we liked, and while we were in there, I was just walking around. I was like, man, I've always wanted a big tank. The biggest I had was a 20-gallon. Well, we walked up to the register, and he put down his beta that he wanted, and he said, and we want to buy that 55-gallon fish tank and everything else we need for it. So he bought me a 55-gallon, which was going in his fraternity house, his room. And that is when I got a lot of my brackish water fish, was with that. We took the tank home, we got it set up, we let it run, I want to say we let it run for a week, 10 days, something like that, and then we went back and picked up the fish. The fish store gave us some biological media to make sure that everything was nice and cycled for us. Great experience. I actually worked the rest of my way through college at that fish store. Surprise, surprise, it finished paying off my college so I could get out without debt. But I worked pretty hard doing that. So either way, that 55 moved up to a 90. The boyfriend at that point became the fiance. the fiance. That summer turned into the husband, and here we are. So that's kind of how I got into the fish hobby. It was me, and my husband had a lot to do with it, and we still have a lot of the fish. Now, with that being said, a lot of my mentors in the hobby are people you wouldn't expect. Well, I guess you kind of would. Sorry, I'm so shaky. Somebody, my little man, keeps crawling on me. But either way, mentors in the hobby. Ted Judy, what he does with West Africans, the knowledge, he's incredible. I enjoy reading his articles. I would love to sit down and talk to him for hours, I think. Another person that is a pretty big mentor would be somebody like Joey, so your DIY, the king of DIY. What he does, it makes your mind go, oh, I wonder if you can use this in that setting, and it works. I don't know, I always enjoy watching his videos. I enjoy what he's doing and the knowledge he puts out there on a lower income budget, which is always really nice. Now, there's one other person, and I know, Jeff, I know you said that us saying your name as a mentor wouldn't help us win, and that's fine, but you're the reason I stayed in this hobby. I was gonna get out when I had my daughter, my first daughter. I kind of had lost the spark for it, and you helped reignite it, and it's grown into what it is right now. So for that, you've been a huge mentor, just your attitude and everything through your videos. So those are kind of who my mentors are. Someday, my dream would be to have myself be a mentor to somebody else. So we'll see what happens. Now, with that being said, reasons I stay in the hobby. Where's my hobby going? It's going where it's going. Probably going more towards West Africans. I really enjoy the pelvicochromis species. My orthochromis, my chondrochromis, that sort of thing. I'm really enjoying them. But the reason I stay in this hobby now is because of this. Now she just popped her second tooth, and her third one, you can feel it through the gums already. And guess what? She's happy in here. This is why we hang out in the fish room. My other two are happily playing over there in the fish room, just listening to the noises. We sit here and we read and we play. They help me feed the fish. We learn about the fish. They pull out my fish books all the time, and they just want to talk about fish and look at the pictures of the fish and the encyclopedia. I mean, that's why I stay in it. That's where the hobby's going for me, and that's pretty much my life. So there you go, Jeff. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thanks for putting on such an awesome contest. If anybody else is watching this, thanks for watching it. Stay tuned. I've got quite a few other projects going on here in the fish room right now that we're not going to get into, but I'm in my thinking chair, just looking at my fish. All right, guys. Jeff, thank you again for the awesome contest. Seakim, thanks for sponsoring it. Catch everybody next time.